All right, today we're previewing topic 4, multiplication of decimals. First, we're going to review what you know. Our vocabulary words are exponent, hundredths, overestimate, partial products, power, round, tenths, thousandths, and underestimate. Choose the best term from the box and write it on the blank. One way to estimate a number is and the best answer would be to round the number. Take that and cross it off. Using 50 for the number of weeks in a year, there is 52 weeks in a year, so 50 is below the actual, so we call that an underestimate. Sorry, I'm working in this tiny little computer here. In the number 3 and 72 thousandths, the digit 7 is in the, and we say that's in the hundredths place, so I can't really fit that in there. Hundredth, make sure you have the TH at the end, so it would be in the hundredths place. Remember our place value. The 7 is in the tenths place, the 0 in this example is in the hundredths place, and the 2 is in the thousandths place. So actually the problem we have was this. So what's in the tenths place? It's a 0. What's in the hundredths place? It's a 7. What's in the thousandths place? It's a 2. And the 3 is in the ones place. So we need to review our place value. That's back from topic 1. 100,000 is a power of 20, or power of 30, power of 10, because 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 equals 10,000. So it's a power of 10. And we could write that as 10 to the 4th power using an exponent and a base number. So we're going to be messing around in decimals in this chapter. Multiplication of decimals is our basic concept. So as we move down here, find each product. And remember, some of these you should be able to use mental math. 64 times 100, 64, and we can just annex the 2 zeros. 7,832 times 10 to the 3rd power. And remember, 10 to the 3rd power is the same as 1,000. So we can write 7823 and annex 3 zeros for that one. 10 times 1,405, 1,405, and annex that 1 0, bring it on over. And so the first 3 of them, we can use mental math strategies. For number 8, 9, and 10, we're going to have to use the algorithm. Remember, you need a piece of paper, a notebook. You can use a whiteboard. If you use a notebook, you could turn it sideways to help you multiply. Keep things organized. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. Now we're doing 5, which is actually a 50. So 50 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Carry the 1. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1 is 6. 5 times 4 is 20. We add them together. 9, 8, 8, 1, 2. And we put in our comma to separate the periods. For number 9, we have 906 times 57. 6 times 7 is 42. Carry the 4. 7 times 0 is 0 plus 4. 7 times 9, 63. And now that's the first partial product. Remember, these are called partial products. Now we're going to distribute the 5, which is actually a 50. 5 times 6 is 30. Carry the 3. 5 times 0 is 0 plus 3. 5 times 9 is 45. We're going to add those partial products together. And we get 51, 642. Remember, that's a 5, by the way. You can check your work on a calculator. And for number 10, again, clearly write out the problem. Larger number goes on top. We can change the position because of the commutative property of multiplication. Now we'll use the distributive property. And for this one, I can actually I can kind of blend my partial products together. I could do this because 0 times 7, 0 times 3, 0 to 0, 0 times 1. But if I want to save myself some time, what I can do here is actually put a 0 down because I know my ones place is going to be whatever digit is in the ones place of my top partial product will be the same as the digit in the ones place of my product, my final answer. So I'm going to shift over. 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times 3 is 24 plus 24 plus 5. And I'm going to wind up with 82,960. So those would be my answers. So you're reviewing multiplication of whole numbers to get you ready for multiplication of decimals. Again, I would suggest doing the work and then checking it on a calculator. Check your partial products and then check your final answer. Take your time. Make sure if you do make an error in the computation, you understand where the error is. Round each number to the nearest 10th place. So we're going to underline the 10th because we're rounding to the 10th. So it's important you know place value. So when I'm rounding to the 10th place, I look next door and there's a 2 there, which is going to tell me to do nothing. Rounding to the nearest 10th place again, there's a 4 next to the 1, which is going to make me, again, do nothing. And in number 13, there's a 5 next to the 0, which is going to make me increase that 0 to the next whole number, which is going to be a 1. And notice that your decimals all stop at the 10th place because you're rounding to the 10th place. So you don't put any zeros after that. You stop at the 10th place. And then finishing up down the bottom here, use the commutative property and associated property of multiplication to complete each multiplication problem. So we're going to use, remember we can change the position. 6 times 4 is the same as 4 times 6. So we can change the position and still have the same answer. So 96 times 42 equals 4,032. So 42 times 96 is going to equal the same thing. We just moved things around. You're allowed to do that. Now we're using the distributive property here. So we're saying, let's see, what are we doing here? We are doing 4 times the product of 58 times 25 is the same as saying 4 times 25 times 58. So we see we just moved the positions of those. It's the same thing, which is also the same as saying 4 times 25 times 58. So we can move them all around and they'll have the same answer. And our final answer there, silly me. So our final answer there, if you want to move them around to make it easier for you to do it in your head, this one is the best one. Oops, accidentally hit the eraser. 4 times 25 is 100, and 100 times 58 equals 58 and 2 zeros. So that's why we move things around. We like to move them around so we can try to do them in our head if we can. Use mental math. Your brain is smarter and faster than any calculator out there, believe it or not. And number 16, the same thing. We're going to move stuff around. 293 times 5, the product of 293 times 5 times 20 is the same as 293 times, times 50. 293 times 50 times 20. And 50 times 20, 50 times 20 is something you should be able to do in your head because you know 5 times 2 is 10, and we just annex 2 zeros. So 50 times 20 is 1,000. So 293 times 1,000, you would write 293 and annex the 3 zeros. So by moving this problem around, you're able to do it in your head, some of you. some of you might still be having a hard time, but if you can do it in your head, it's going to go a lot faster. So keep that in mind as we are previewing for the next topic. You can watch some of the videos on the YouTube playlist that I put up. You can also preview some of the math videos for the week. Either way, we're getting started on 4-1.